There's a very famous story about John F. Kennedy back in the 1960s doing a tour of NASA. And he comes across this guy that's busy detail cleaning. And he stops him and says, "What's your role here?" The janitor's response is, "My role is to help put the first man on the moon." When you think about that, the importance of having clarity on purpose is such an important part of any team's culture. And I'd like you to think for a moment, what is culture? The most simple definition that I can give you is culture is the behavior you accept. And when you think about that, every organization, big or small, will have behaviors within their team that are productive and serving them really well and helping them achieve their amazing results. And they'll have some counterproductive behaviors or some less desirable behaviors from a couple of team members, and something as simple as not addressing somebody coming in late to work can actually creep into our culture the first time we let that slide. So when we think about that, our role as leaders is to help everybody get on the same page, and there's a couple of key components that we need to consider. The first one that's probably the most underrated and that slips through the crack is the environment which we create. Recent studies have shown that 70% of our workforce is actually disengaged. Now, if you just pause for a second and reflect on your team, 70% are disengaged. That's 3 out of every 10 are performing at optimal level. So what do we do about it? We have a responsibility to create that environment that first and foremost, people feel welcome, they feel safe, they feel respected, and they feel valued. And that is the role in anybody's culture. It's up to you how you go about doing that. You can have a culture by design or a culture by default, and the choice is yours. There's a few things that you can actually work on with yourself, with your team, with your leadership team, and with every single person that works in your organization. One is having some agreed behaviors that you'll work towards. This might be framed as your values, your core principles, what you know, what it looks like in action, but also identifying what's not acceptable around that. So as an example, if you have accountability in your workplace, what does it mean for you to be accountable in this role to be successful? And what are examples of somebody not being accountable, and what does that look like? And a great example that I can share with you is sometimes with organizations, what I see is leaders in particular pointing the finger. It's not my fault, it's the team's. When we point the finger, we've always got 3 coming back at us. Number 1, what's been my role? Number 2, what can I do? And number 3, what will I do? And the ability to self-reflect around those behaviors. There's no point in telling people you should do this or this is what we expect from you if you're not role modeling that behavior. And as leaders, we need to role model it as best we can. We need to challenge it when people are not living it or drop the ball. And we actually need to reward people who are doing a great job and celebrate the success. The second component that you can intentionally focus on is building strong professional relationships. There can be times in the workplace where the lines can get blurry between friendship and professional relationships, and the impact that that can have on performance is significant. By intentionally building strong professional relationships, we may or may not like each other, but we still need to find a way to be able to work together, to have utmost clarity on our roles and responsibilities, and to deliver what we've been hired to do. When those relationships are fractured or broken, people start to dance around them, work around them, they'll find a way to avoid each other, and as a result, it impacts the entire team. And the final key point is focusing on crucial conversations. And this is a skill that you can learn, that you can enhance. It's the giving and receiving of feedback. It's listening to understand rather than listening to respond. And when we think about that, a really beautiful and simple framework that you can use is SBI, clarifying the situation, the behavior, and the impact. And this crucial conversation can be used to reward really productive behaviors and really counterproductive behaviors that need to be addressed. The situation that we had on Friday was the meeting was not productive. The behavior that we saw from this team was disengagement and a lack of respect as everybody was on their laptops. And the impact was we did not achieve what we set out to. So you can make it, it might not roll off the tongue as simple as that, but you can make it really clear. And what we need to do with culture is make the complex simple and the simple compelling. Now, as much time and effort as you put into your P&L is as much time and effort as you should be investing in your culture. So like I said, culture is the behavior that you accept. You can have a culture by design or a culture by default. The choice is yours, but it is a choice on what you do. My name is Shelley McElroy, and Dream Culture has been created to help leaders improve their capability and have sustainable culture change in a positive direction. And ultimately, every single business can do it. It's up to you if you choose to or not. Thank you.